Welcome, I'm Cassandra, and this is your general and love forecast for 18. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. So let's jump into it. Okay, for our first card, this represents Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and Cancer Risings. So here we have the Eight of Coins in the reverse position. So to me, this automatically suggests that a lot of you guys are definitely dealing with some issues at work. Now, this can manifest in several different ways. Sometimes this can be union type of disagreements. Sometimes this can be like a labor dispute. A lot of times, this card is about us not having the proper tools to get our job done the right way. It's almost like sometimes our employer could give us a project or an assignment where it can look pretty impossible to complete, so to speak, on first look. You're just like, how am I supposed to do this? You know, it's almost like they're setting you up for the impossible. Not that it can't be done, it's just you don't have the right tools or the right equipment or the right software or whatever it may be. We're lacking something. Now, sometimes this can indicate that, maybe we're just tired of the conditions that we're in. Maybe we don't feel like we are being valued at our job. And sometimes we can just be like, well, I'm going to do as little as I can to get by because I'm just over this place. I'm tired of not being appreciated. I'm tired of being, you know, taken advantage of. So this would definitely be indicating some issues at work. Oh, I wish this card were in the upright position, but it is what it is. But sometimes, more times than not, this card is definitely indicating that you should definitely start looking for different work, a different job entirely. You could go after a job that you could use your skill set and your abilities for, or you could actually decide to go in a completely different way. Some of you may decide to go learn some new skills because the present job situation just, it's not good. Not good. There's just unhappiness. And sometimes it can just feel like a non productive situation. And a lot of times, this can indicate that we're not receiving that steady income or profit, or it is delayed, and that can become extremely frustrating. To be clarifying, we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse. So, so this can definitely indicate that one, someone could have taken something from you, someone could have stolen something from you. A lot of times plagiarism can come up with this card in the upright or reverse position, okay? Because this man is taking five swords, but yet he is leaving two behind as evidence that something has been taken, okay? Now, sometimes this can indicate that someone may have lied to you. So there could be a betrayal or a deception. Sometimes with this card, an apology can be forthcoming, where someone will be like, hey, I did this, I'm really sorry. So for some, you might actually get an apology from someone that did something wrong to you, whether they stole from you or whether they lied to you. You could receive an apology for what they did. Now, sometimes we don't receive an apology, and sometimes they just continue to try to make our life hell, unfortunately. And I wasn't even thinking about it, but I definitely know someone in a situation like this. Just hit me. But yes, these can be issues. I mean, just know that if you go through this, I mean, you can forgive the person if you feel that they deserve forgiveness, if you feel that they won't do it again, by all means, but you really need to be careful. Sometimes this card can indicate unfaithfulness, but this is about a work situation, so but that could still play into work. Maybe perhaps they might be giving someone else the better work and they might be giving you some work that is not so great. Kind of like bias and favoritism. Mm, yeah. Now, anytime I see this card, especially in the reverse position, I always like to warn everyone. And please, when it comes to your home and your vehicle, play it safe. And your work for that matter. You know, say you might be writing a book or something, or whatever it may be. Keep these things under lock and key. Especially your home, make sure all your windows are locked. Make sure that there are no cracks or crevices where an intruder might be able to get in. Some of us, we live in great neighborhoods. We've not ever had to worry about things like this. But sometimes this can happen. So, just a warning. It's just a need to be a bit more extra cautious in our environment because we do not want someone to literally break into our house or break into our car. Now, for some of you, this could have already happened, or this could be, someone invading your work, taking your work, possibly taking credit for your work. Okay, so this would be your circumstances. So here we have the Five of Cups in the reversed position. So this shows that you guys have been through a loss and a disappointment, and you are now in the process of beginning to heal from it. So with this card, your confidence is returning, and a lot of times when we find this card, we're ready to go out and enjoy life. We're ready to make some new friends. Sometimes with this card, some old acquaintances can come back into our life, so that's always a possibility. Also, with this card, sometimes this can indicate a new job opportunity could be on the horizon. It could be a new job opportunity, it could be a new relationship opportunity, different things, but at least we're not stuck in the loss and in the disappointment. We need to move forward. We need to allow our confidence to be renewed, and hey, good things will start to happen. You know, there's always hope, and even though we go through a loss, it is tough. We just got to kind of pick up our bootstraps and keep moving. Okay, so we clarify, and we have the Four of Coins. So some of you may not be moving on so easily. Even though you have this wonderful energy of being able to move forward, maybe some of you are still clinging to that loss, to that disappointment that occurred in your past. So some of you are definitely still hanging on. Now, for some of you, this loss and disappointment could have been around your finances or your job. Now, typically, this is a very good financial card. It's one where we are financially stable, we are secure. That is what we're working towards every single day. Sometimes a little bit of greediness can come up with this card, but it's not out of being mean spirited, it's being out of, hey, I had to work ass off to get what money I have, so I'm not just going to hand it out freely to just anybody. So, again, it can indicate some greediness, stinginess, but it's not always, you know, from a malicious type of motivation. You just had to work hard to get it, so you're not going to just hand it out. And hey, the way things are these day and ages, we're we're hanging on to even our pennies. So, but yeah, to me, I'm looking at this like I think some of you are still trying to hang on. You're still clinging to this loss that you went through when you should be healing. The energy is saying it's time to heal, it's time to let go, it's time to move on, move forward. Let's go have fun, let's make friends, let's find new opportunities. But the Four of Coins could also be indicating that absolutely there is a job offer, a job opportunity that will most definitely come your way. So, sorry, I like to throw different things out here because every Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising is different. We all want, different things. We're all on our own journey, so, and that's okay. We're not all exactly the same. Okay, so this would be our focus position. Here we have the Ten of Swords. So, yeah, not the greatest energy. I mean, when we look at this card, this man, he's literally got swords in his back. You can even see the blood. Ugh, and those crows. Ugh. Okay. Well, this can sometimes be straightforward and literal. Sometimes you can literally feel like you've been stabbed in the back by someone. Now, this is a karmic ending. So, a karmic cycle has been completed for you. That sounds painful, but I mean, it is, but it it helps us to clear the slate so that we get that new start without any karma associated with it. So, it does have a positive side, even though it's really hard to see it. But this card is definitely one of pain, despair, you know, loss. I mean, it's not the greatest. But you must realize that anything that comes to an end, it's coming to an end for a very good reason, okay? Because even though we may not be able to see it, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually holding us back. It's preventing us from being able to further our personal growth. So we've basically outlived a certain situation, and this situation has come to an end, okay? So you need to realize that, yes, this can be very upsetting, very painful for some, but it was necessary. Sometimes this can indicate, you know, someone gets a divorce. Sometimes this can indicate that we lose our job. Sometimes this can indicate that we've literally been stabbed in the back, that we've experienced a betrayal. No matter what it is, something comes to an end, okay? And this is a karmic cycle completing, and at the end of it, we are able to have a clean slate so that we can start over again without any karma. So, like I said, I know it sounds negative, but there is a positive to it. Okay, so we clarify we have the Hanging Man. So the Hanging Man is about sacrifice and change. Okay, so sometimes we contemplate actually making sacrifices that we've never made in our life. Sometimes we're looking at a complete reversal of lifestyle, but it's something that we're willing to accept and deal with. Sometimes we don't have a choice, we just have to deal with it. But for some of us, we're just like, you know what? I just want the hell out of this situation. Let's, whatever. I'll deal with it. So, but any change that the Hanging Man actually leads you to will be one that is far better. The Hanged Man is also about walking away from what is known and what is familiar. And so we're walking in our new direction, which is, you know, unknown, but we're walking into a new direction with faith. Faith, okay? And trust me, this is much better. So whatever you've had to sacrifice, whatever you might have lost, this is all about us moving forward, and we're getting that new start. We're getting that new direction. And it's really for the best, but sometimes it can be a bummer because sometimes we have to sacrifice a lot. And I'm still feeling that for a lot of you, this is definitely work. Not all of you. Some of you, this is work, relationships. For some, it's home life, personal life. Okay. So this is the recent past. So we have the Nine of Wands. So in the recent past, you were definitely standing on the defense. You were probably having to defend yourself. Maybe you were defending yourself, your family, your friends. Maybe you were even defending your values, your beliefs, whatever it may be. You see, this man, he's got a cut on his head. But look at him. He's like totally fierce. He's like, you really think this cut on the head's going to stop me? It's not. And this is just indicative of we've already been wounded. Not necessarily a physical wound, but we've already been wounded in a situation and we're still not backing down. We are standing our ground and we're going to defend ourselves, our values, our beliefs, our family, our friends if we have to. You're not going to push us around. That's this type of energy. Ooh, okay. So we clarify we have the Justice card in reverse. So yeah, it makes total sense why you guys were like, hey, I'm not backing down. You might have wounded me. You might have got me, but I'm not going down. You're not going to take me down. Ooh. Just know that karma, she never comes up in reverse, okay? And karma's always watching. I always say karma's the bitch that never sleeps. Some people get tired of hearing me say that, but hey, this is the truth. And karma will get those who do us wrong. They will. The Justice card in reverse, this can indicate bias. This can indicate corruption. This can indicate corruption within the legal system. So a judge, prosecutor, a lawyer, sometimes even the police officers. Sometimes this can indicate discrimination, racism. Things are just very unethical and corrupted when the Justice card is in reverse. But like I said, karma, she never comes in reverse. So just know that karma will have your back. Absolutely. May not always feel like it, but he's got your back. Okay, so this would be the present energy, the here, the now energy. So we have the Hierophant in the reverse position. So the Hierophant in reverse, these would be things that are unconventional, non-traditional. The Rebel, maybe some of you are definitely ready to break away from the pack and you're ready to march to the beat of your own drum rather than everybody else's. This is a card of also about conforming. And when it's in the reverse position, we're saying, hell no, I'm not conforming. I'm not going to fall in line and just do what everybody else is doing. And sometimes we have to break away from the pack. Sometimes we got to blaze our own trail, and that's okay. But for some, this can indicate that maybe you might be being a little bit rebellious. Maybe you're doing something you wouldn't have never dreamed of. Maybe you're behaving quite differently. This type of energy can also be like the hippies. This can also be one of like the bohemian free love. Yeah. This card can also indicate, like, especially regarding romantic relationships, this can be someone that's like, I'm not trying to get married. I don't want that legal paper. We can have a relationship and we can be committed and we can live like we're married, but we're not going to actually literally get married. We don't need that legal paper. Yeah. Okay, so we clarified we have the Hermit in the reverse position. So, this can definitely indicate that perhaps you were given advice from someone else, or perhaps you're not listening to your own higher mind that's trying to give you advice and trying to tell you, do this, you shouldn't do that. This is like wisdom disregarded. And it was good wisdom, it was good advice, and we did not listen to it. Now, unfortunately, this is the present position, so, no crying over spilt milk now. There's not much we can do about it except for learn from our lessons and don't ever ignore your gut feeling. Don't ever ignore your intuition, that inner voice, okay? It is there for a very good reason. The moment that we second guess it, that's where we lose it. That's where we get ourselves into trouble. So maybe some of you have definitely went against your better judgment and you broke out of the pack, so to speak. You've decided to go your own way. It may work, it may not work. For some of you, it will. For some of you, it could cause more problems. Like I said, we're all different. We're all on our own individual journeys, and that's okay. Not every one of us want the same thing. Yeah, we got similar characteristics here and there, but That doesn't mean we all want the same things. So, okay, so this would be the position of your near future. So here we have the Ace of Coins. So this is beautiful. This is definitely indicating a new financial start. So this could be potentially a new job opportunity. This could be an investment. This could be different things, but it is a new financial start. Okay? I just would like to say that if you're considering investing money, make sure that it's the right way you want to go so that we don't end up reversing here. So, just a little bit of helpful information. That way, we can try to avoid any type of pitfalls or delays and frustrations because, hey, cancer has gone through enough. It's been pretty rough for a lot of us. Okay, so yeah, I mean, for those who are considering actually investing their money into, say, a new business and perhaps an investment opportunity or even real estate, make sure that this is truly what you want and that this is really where you want to invest your money. You got to be honest with yourself. And don't overextend yourself. I'm definitely giving warnings of, this card when it's in the reverse to try to prevent that from happening because I want this Ace of Coins to stay upright for you guys. You truly deserve it. You really do. Now, enough of that jazz. So, yes, this is definitely a new financial start. This, more times than not, is probably going to be indicating that you have a new financial opportunity, hence new job. Sometimes there could be multiple opportunities. So there is an opportunity for a new outlet of money. Okay, so we clarify. We have the Two of Swords. So this shows that we have a decision to make. Perhaps some of you might receive multiple opportunities offered to you. These will probably be job possibilities, opportunities, excuse me. Now, with the Two of Swords, this can indicate that we are at a point of indecision where we are having a hard time making up our mind. We're having a hard time which we should choose. For some of you, you might be trying to decide should I stay at this current place where I'm already used to it, or should I take this opportunity? Some of you might even be wondering, is this the right opportunity for me? And yes, let's question it, you know? Now, this woman, she has a blindfold on. She put this blindfold on herself. Now, typically with this card in most decks, we see water behind her, but because typically there is always a little bit of an emotional element to the decision that she has to make. So she puts the blindfold on so that she doesn't use her physical eyes. She wants to use her third eye. Yes, she wants to listen to her intuition. She also wants to take the time to carefully weigh the pros and the cons to each choice. Okay? And so that would definitely be very good advice when you're trying to figure out should I take this opportunity? Definitely take some quiet time, go within, and definitely, if you have to, get a pad of paper and a pen and literally start writing the pros and the cons to each choice, okay? To each opportunity or whatever it may be. Because we're going to have to make a choice at some point. And we definitely don't want this Ace of Coins energy getting away from us because it is a beautiful energy. It's giving us a new financial start. So for some, there won't be too much indecision. We'll be like, hey, yeah, give me that new opportunity. But even those people, I definitely want you to still consider, all the pros and cons. Let's try to channel some of that reasoning ability and let's weigh things out. Yeah. We want to make sure we make the right choice. Okay, so this would be the attitude card, and here we have the world in the reverse position. Oh, okay. Well, typically with this card in the attitude position, sometimes we can take on a bit of an attitude that's like, I have been through hell and back. Why am I having to deal with these things? Why do I keep experiencing delay after delay, frustration after frustration? I'm over it. You know, when am I going to get a break? When am I going to get to finally be happy? Sometimes there can be a feeling of the world, literally conspiring against you, but it's really not, you know. A lot of times when this card comes up, it's pointing to that more work needs to be done. And typically, that more work that needs to be done is we might be repeating a mistake over and over, okay? And we might be failing to learn the lesson so that we can quit making the mistakes. So, if you know that you're repeating something and you keep getting the same results, yeah, let's drop that. Let's stop doing that. That can become the very definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But the result is always the same. So, yeah, the moment that we can acknowledge that and say, hey, okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm not making that mistake no more. The moment that you can acknowledge that, take your accountability on that, then we can get this world card back upright and then we can make some real good things happen, okay? But overall, you'd be feeling like life is just conspiring against you. It can feel like, why can't I ever get a break? Why do I always have to have setback after setback? Okay. So we clarify and we have the strength card. So the strength card's definitely saying, hey, when you feel weak, you need to rely on that inner strength, okay? You're really stronger than you think you are. And I think that a lot of these trials and tribulations that you might be going through, they're to prove to you just how strong and resilient you are. And sometimes these types of tests, life tests, while they can suck, okay? I totally get it, but they can definitely end up showing us just how strong and resilient we are. And if we didn't go through those tests, we would have never known how strong we were. Because you're very strong. You're stronger than you think, okay? So instead of falling back on making the same mistakes, you need to fall back on that inner strength, okay? Have strength, have faith, and know that everything will work out. Sometimes this can be easier said than done, but sometimes we really have to modify our thoughts. We have to redirect our thoughts, especially if we're being negative or pessimistic. This is where we need to really get in and redirect, refocus our thoughts. We need to be thinking positive. We need to be thinking about abundance, prosperity, all of the positive things. We don't want to think about what we're lacking. The moment that we continue to focus on what we are lacking, if we get stuck on feeling on, okay, I'm lacking this, I'm lacking that, I can't do this because I don't have that, get out of that attitude and that mind frame, okay? Because that it just kind of digs our grave a little bit deeper and it just brings more lack to us. Like attracts like. So if you have been in that type of mind frame of focusing on what you lack, you can change that. The moment that you start thinking about what you lack, stop yourself and say, hey, no, we're not going to do this. So then you need to refocus your thoughts and start focusing on every single blessing you have, no matter how big, how small. And don't tell me you don't have any blessings in your life, because you do. Are you breathing? That's a blessing. Do you have something to eat today? That's a blessing. Do you have a home, an apartment, whatever it be? That's a blessing. Do you have children? That's a blessing. Are they healthy? That's a blessing. I mean, people tend to forget and take things for granted just how, the small things really are blessings. And if we can focus on the blessings, okay? When we focus on being grateful and thankful for what we do have rather than focusing on the lack, focus on what we do have. And then that can put us in a attitude of gratitude, okay? Focus on the positive, focus on the good things that we do have in our life, and you can end up attracting a lot more good, positive blessings into your life. But it's a matter of we've got to get ourselves out of this attitude of lack, okay? We cannot continue to think that way. It's not beneficial for us in the long run. Okay, this is how other people see you. So we have the Six of Swords. So this definitely indicates that we are moving away from a situation. And the situation that we move away from is one of loss. A lot of times it surrounds a job or an upset within the family. It can be different things, okay? But there is a loss that causes us to be like, you know what? I'm ready to get out of here. Sometimes this can actually indicate an actual move. So some of you might decide to actually move different states, maybe even a different country. For some it could just simply be a move that's, a city or two away. But some of you might actually want to move to get away from the situation. And I would encourage it. If you have the money, go for it. Now, hard to tell on this card, but this is supposed to be water. And she's rowing herself over to the other side of the shore. Because a lot of times this can be more mental, okay? Sometimes this is something that we need to do within our mind. We know that we went through the loss, but we need to mentally move ourselves away from that loss. We need to move ourselves from loss to peace. And peace is on the other side of on the shore that she's rowing towards. So find your peace, okay? Have strength. Let's come into an attitude of gratitude. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, so we clarify we have the Three of Wands. So, look, we have another boat. Well, that's her leaf, but it's symbolic of a boat. But we have another boat, another card with water. Yeah, to me it sounds like some of you are definitely going to be moving. For a few of you, this could actually indicate a vacation. For a few of you, this can actually indicate that you might be offered a job opportunity or a job partnership type of deal. And this would require a move, or it would require you to travel. Yes. This is beautiful. I'm so happy. I really am. So, yeah, this definitely looks like things are going to turn in your favor. And hey, if we can all adapt this attitude of gratitude, wow, things can get even better. So, yeah, that ship coming in, that is symbolic of resources, hence money, coming in to us. And perhaps that money comes in for us through a partnership deal, a new job opportunity. But overall, this is positive. This is also a card of cooperation. and foresight. Beautiful. I love it. I really do. Okay, so this is the position of hopes and fears. So the King of Swords, if you ever had a court case, this is definitely the card you would want. The King of Swords in the upright position, this is an honorable man. This is an honest man. This is a man that takes his time in making his decision because he considers both parties. He weighs everything out, and he can be slow in coming to a decision, but that's because he's making sure that he makes the right decision. So this man is very good, okay? Now, the King of Swords, he can sometimes be a lawyer, he can be a judge, he can be a prosecutor, different things, but overall, this is about what is right, what is fair, what is, the right thing. There is a bit of karma with this card. Like I always look at the King of Swords like he can be a karmic judge. So even if this doesn't represent an actual judge, this can be one of a karmic judge, so to speak. Karma. Oh, we clarify, we get the Nine of Wands. Wait. Nine of Wands, King of Swords, Nine of Wands, Justice in reverse. Okay. Wow. Okay. So yeah, you were definitely hoping that you would have someone that would not be corrupt. You want someone to make the right decision. Someone who is not biased, someone who is not racist, not discriminating, not corrupted. This man is a man you cannot bribe, you cannot coerce him. Nope. He is fair and honorable. And again, Nine of Swords, so we are definitely ready to defend and protect what we believe in, our values. We're ready to defend ourselves. We're ready to defend our friends and family if need be. Whatever it may be, we're definitely standing on the defensive. And we're not giving up. We're looking at it like, hey, come at me all you want, but you're not going to take me down. So I definitely like the drive behind that, for sure. Because that's kind of how we gotta look at life. Things get thrown at us. What they say, it's not about what we go through, it's about how we react. That's very true. Because sometimes certain people, they hit a roadblock, they find a pothole in the street, so to speak, and sometimes they'll just sit down and start staring at that pothole, and then they start whining about it, and it's like, hey, get up and walk over it and keep going. But some people tend to focus on what's wrong, what we're lacking. Don't worry about it. Let it go. As hard as that can be for some cancers, this is what we really need to embrace, is to let things go sometimes. Some things need to be let go of, and there's a higher purpose for it, okay? So, the final outcome, how crazy is this? We get the Justice card. So there is definitely a justice and injustice theme going throughout this entire reading here. So, justice. We are seeking what we are owed, what is right. We want our lives to be balanced. We want our personal lives, our home life, maybe even our marriage, our relationships. We are ready for things to be equal. We are ready for things to be fair. So, yeah. This can definitely be indicating that some of you might actually have a court case, in the legal system. So, it is very possible. So, we clarify, and we get the Six of Coins in the reverse position. So, The Six of Coins in general, this is a card of generosity, okay? You see he's handing out what appears to be a Libra symbol, but it's supposed to be symbolic of a coin. But this is giving charity. Now, when it's in the reversed position, this can indicate that, say, perhaps maybe you might be trying to get a loan or something. Sometimes we can get it, but then there can be an issue where we don't get as much as we needed or as much as we thought we would. So that can always be an issue. And sometimes this can indicate where we receive something, but there are strings attached to it. Yeah. Sometimes this can be indicating that say like a 401k, you may not receive as much as you thought you would. Ouch, yeah. Now, there is another element to this card, and it would definitely be directed towards the justice system. So, perhaps some of you might be waiting on an estate to be distributed. Now, with this card, this can be indicative of things be handled unfairly within the distribution of the estate. And so some of you might actually be seeking out the justice system to make this right. Yeah, so that's always a possibility. And just in general, I wanted to clarify this card, the Six of Coins in reverse, which typically I don't do, but I just had a nagging feeling that I wanted to, and look at what came out. The World upright. So this definitely indicates that even though we receive an offer of money, it may not be much. It could be an offer, some sort of offer to help us where there are strings attached. Could be the unfair distribution of an estate, us not receiving as much on an investment that we made, or say like a 401k. But I clarify and I get the World. So this is beautiful. This shows through this situation, by the end of it, we will have finally obtained the upright position, the whole self-actualization. We will have learned our lessons. And with the World comes karmic rewards. Okay? And so to me, this is screaming that karma is most definitely watching, and she is on our side, and she is going to make sure that she sets things straight for us. So even if we don't receive as much as we should, karma's going to make up for it. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, we deserve this. It's about time. Woo, karmic rewards. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, for some of you, you definitely will probably end up getting what you want in the end. Whether you want a new job or you're ready to move, whatever it is, that's the great thing about the World card, is whatever we desire, we can truly have it. Especially if we stay in that attitude of gratitude, we can very much attract it to us. Let's just make sure we don't focus on the lack. Everyone lacks something, okay, but let's not focus on it. When we focus on it, we attract more. So let's focus on the good, on the positive, okay? This is wonderful. But yeah, some of you definitely, I feel that for some of you, this could definitely be linked to this other job here. Yeah. Maybe your job might have promised to pay you more and they did not deliver, and perhaps you might take them to court. Whatever it may be, but when I see the World card, that tells me that Everything is going to turn out great for you, okay? It may have moments where it looks like it's going to go the other way, but it's going to it's going to come out your way regardless. So, and we don't always have to be involved in a legal case, okay? This can just be in regards to wanting what is right, wanting things to be fair. It can also be about karma. But with the world, karma has our back. We're good. She's going to make things right for us. So this is beautiful. And it's not just karma, it's you had to work to get to that. So, like I said, let's stay in that attitude of gratitude. Okay, bottom of the deck, we have 2 of coins. So this is definitely about juggling our finances. It's going to be about juggling financial situations. Maybe some of you are actually juggling a couple different jobs. Whatever it may be, the 2 of coins is definitely indicating that we have several irons in the fire, so to speak, but we are able to handle this, okay? Thankfully, this is in the upright position, so we are able to handle all these different things that are going on. And a lot, it's going to be, things of a financial type of nature, but we are able to handle it. We can do it. Oh, ouch. So we clarify we have the death card in reverse. So, yeah. I did say I feel that some people are still hanging on, trying to cling to a situation where there was a loss and disappointment, where we should be walking away, moving away from it. I feel that a few of you are not. And see, this is the type of energy that we really do not want to fall back on. This is kind of like our shadow side, okay? Because let's face it, Cancer energy, yes, we very much have ties and roots to our past. This is true, okay? Very much true. But when a situation is it's trying to come to an end, we need to let it come to an end. And unfortunately, when Death card is in reverse, this is us still trying to battle, still trying to cling on to something that honestly does not serve us anymore. It's no good for us. It's actually been holding us back. The overall message here is stop battling, because this is like an endless battle. Battle after battle after battle after battle. We need to surrender. Let it go. Move on. Let go, let God. Let go, let the divine. Let go, let the universe. Let go, let Pluto. I mean, whatever works for you, but some things we need to learn to just truly let go of so we can move forward. We need to clear our energy, so to speak, okay? So, if you've got a situation in your life that should have been done a long time ago, you might just want to stop trying to fight, because it's like an endless battle. And we can literally push ourselves past being physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted, okay? We don't need to make ourselves sick over something that ultimately is just hurting us anyway. It's holding us back. But the problem is most of us cannot acknowledge or even realize that it is holding us back. We just look at it like, well, we want this person, or we want this situation, but it's not good for us anymore. It might have been good for us 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but it's not now. So just realize when things come to an end, sure, it's okay to fight for what you love and what you want, but when you keep having to deal with endless battle, and the battles get worse each time, then this is something you got to just walk away from. Sometimes we just need to learn to surrender to the higher power and say, okay, I'm giving you your way, lead me where I need to be. Overall, you got to take care of you, and only you can do that, all right? And you don't want to block yourself and keep yourself stuck in the past, okay? If we're stuck in the past, then we can't truly move forward. We have to clear ourselves of this energy. Now, for some people, this could definitely be indicating that perhaps maybe you need closure. Now, if you need this closure, do what you got to do quickly to get this closure and then be done and just let it go. Because this sounds strange, but there is great power in realizing that something we have in our life that we need to let go of it. And the moment that we let go of it and surrender and walk away, there is tremendous power in that. And that is you having faith in yourself and putting yourself first, okay? Because only you can do that. Only you can do it. I can counsel you all day long on how to do it, but you're the one that has to actually do it. So we have free will. Okay, I have some love oracle cards here. So this is for the Cancer sun, moon, and rising signs that are single. Ooh, unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Okay, so to me, I feel like some of you might still, that are single, you might still be hanging on to someone that you love, but that, you need to realize that this was more one-sided, that you loved more than the other person did, okay? And you deserve so much better than that. And that death card in reverse, yeah, that's saying you need to let go of that. You need to let go of that person. You deserve better. And don't keep yourself stuck in the past, because you deserve better. And the moment that you let this person go and let the idea go that they'll love me someday, no, let it go. Because when you do that, there's great power in that. And I'm telling you, this can lead you to someone much better. It can lead us to situations that are much better. It can lead us to a much better partner that will actually love us. Oh, okay, calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So yeah, some of you single Cancers are definitely calling in your soulmate. You're ready. Okay, so these will be for the Cancer, sun, moon, and rising signs that are in a relationship or married. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Yeah. I feel this is an issue for some of us. We really need to heal and release the past because it holds us back. And sometimes we just don't realize how much it is holding us back, but it is. Ooh, love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Exactly. Love yourself first. Love yourself first to know, let go of certain situations that they're not benefiting us anymore. We've outgrown them. Only you can take care of you, and you must love yourself first. If we don't love ourselves, how can we truly love anyone else? Ooh, that's nice chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So yeah, some of you in relationships, or potentially some of you that are married, you got some serious chemistry with this person. Okay. All right. Finally, things turn in our favor, Cancer. Don't get depressed, okay? Let that stuff in the past go. I know that's hard, but come on. And say it with me. Let's be in an attitude of gratitude. Let's make life happen. Let's make some successes happen. We deserve it. We really do. It's time. And it's our time, okay? So let's get ready because things are going to turn in our favor. And it's about time. Yeah, we got to get through this sticky situation here. But wow. It leads us to getting our justice. It leads us to getting our karmic rewards and our self-actualization. So this is beautiful. So keep your head up, Cancers, okay? Remember, don't have that lack mentality. Attitude of gratitude, okay? Keep it positive, Cancers. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next month. I'm sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.